Full disclosure, this is not my tweet, nor do I know the person who tweeted it. I have never got banned from Twitter in all the 6 years that I have been using the platform. I am a modern citizen, a pillar of the community. However, this tweet has gone viral, and as such, I would like to analyze it because I think it's very interesting and very telling about why the people who are doing the moderation on Twitter are very upset about Elon Musk's potential takeover. Now, this internet user by the name of Bok posted at two people, said the Groomer. I have censored the names of those two people because they're not important to the conversation. We are not analyzing their behavior. We are just interested in the behavior of the Twitter moderation team. So because he posted said the Groomer, he has become the violator. He has transgressed against the hateful conduct. So what is hateful conduct? Good question. Hateful conduct, according to Twitter, is when you promote violence against, threaten, or harass people based on certain characteristics. As such, the person Bok harass people on the characteristic of being a Groomer. So let's see which does Twitter moderation think being a Groomer is part of. A race. I don't think so. I don't think like you have the Groomer race. No, I do not. No. Ethnicity. Also not. National origin. There is no nation of Groomeria. Maybe in fantasy. Sexual orientation. I don't know. But definitely more close than national origin, wouldn't you say? Gender or gender identity. Religious affiliation. I don't think there's people worshipping the Groomer god. Age. Probably not. I don't think like you have come to the age of groomering. Disability. Does the Twitter moderation think that grooming is a disability or a serious disease? Twitter. What the fuck? Huh? WTF Twitter, what are you doing? Can you provide additional explanation for the rest of the class? And also, it's like not promote, threaten or harass. So I guess you can't harass groomers, right? Because there's no violence here. Like, he just posted, said the Groomer, so no violence, no threats. I guess this is being like the narrator, the third person, like said Sarah, is harassment according to Twitter, right? Beautiful. Now, I do understand what is going on here. The right, evil people, I know. They're using the same tactic that the left used back in the day when it was like no platform for fascists. In other words, if you're a fascist, no more conversation, that's it. La 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 la, I don't hear you, la 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 la. But the question is like, what is a fascist? Well, can be anything. But usually it was people that were against progressive ideology. So if you didn't vote for Hillary Clinton, you're a fascist. If you're a fascist, they're not interested in debate. Bigotry won politics that day. So this is what the right is doing right now. You know, like, okay, Groomer means that conversation is over, not interested in your arguments, not interested in what you have to say. It's an insult, basically. It's an insult. It's like, okay, you have these views, I'm not interested in talking to you. Bye-bye. Block, mute, ignored. And because this is a very effective tactic, and as we can see, bigotry does win hearts and minds, the left is freaking out because they understand the power of doing this type of tactic. You can't do to us what we did to you. Same with racism, right? Like, or sexism. I mean, all of a sudden I see a lot of left-leaning people going like, yeah, but is it accurate? Is the definition accurate? Does it fit? Where were these people back when disagreeing with Hillary Clinton made you a misogynist? Where were these people saying, well, hold on a little bit, the definition isn't really accurate there. Just because you disagree with what a woman has to say doesn't make you a misogynist. Like, where were these people? Where were they? Playing video games? What about racist? Like, if you don't vote for Obama, you're a racist. Where were those people then? Crickets. All of a sudden, I have found them. They are here to debate whether or not this particular insult is accurate. The answer is it's not accurate, but there's a lot of bigotry going on. They're not interested in conversation. They're not interested in arguments. They're not interested in debate. They have made their mind. Do you know why there's bigots, by the way? Because you banned them from the public platforms. Like, all these people have been banned from most public platforms because of right-wing ideology. So they went somewhere else and they had the conversation without you. You weren't able to use the arguments when they were talking, and now they're back. And they already made up their mind. And there's no platform for grooming. What can you do? Well, the only thing you can do is to hope that more people see your point of view than theirs. Because the dialogue is over. There's no more conversation when a person says, okay, Groomer, that's it. It's like block, mute, ignore. Now, of course, the Twitter moderation team, which has political biases and they want their side of politics to win, they're going to try their best in order to cancel the conversation. So even when people don't break the rules, even when they don't violate the rules, they will still ban those people, regardless. But when you do something like that, when you pull these types of things, not only does it look ridiculous, it also emboldens people to go like, oh, so you're siding with groomers. By the way, it does look like that, doesn't it? It looks horrible. I mean, any person that's not connected to politics, if I showed this to my wife, she would be like, what the fuck is the Twitter moderation team doing? Like, are they insane? I am, because most people, believe it or not, still view that the moderation team is following a certain rules and guidelines, and clearly this person has not violated any rules or guidelines. So the question is like, why? What interest do you have in protecting the person that this Bok was arguing with? And this is not the first time Twitter is doing this. Like, I remember when journalists, back in Obama's days, when Obama was shutting down coal mines left and right, and the coal miners were desperate because they didn't know how they're going to have a livelihood in the future, the journalists were just, oh, look, it's simple, just learn to code. Just learn to code, learn to code. Now, there was a time when journalism as a profession was shrinking. They weren't getting enough traction. People were moving away from the authoritative sources, and because of that, many publications started firing journalists. And the people on Twitter mocking the journalists, like, look, just learn to code, use your own take. Like, you gave this advice to coal miners, why can't you learn how to code? And journalists were very upset about this, and the Twitter Trust and Safety decided to ban any person that said learn to code to a journalist. So you're showing that your platform is run by the emotions of a teenager. It doesn't have a firm set of rules. It doesn't have a firm set of guidelines that people should follow. It's like the wind. It's on the whims of the moderation team. So a lot of people are leaving the platform because of this, due to the fact that they're wondering, well, what point is there to follow the TOS if one day the moderator can allow people to break them, another day they can ban people who follow them. Like, that's ridiculous. You can't run a platform like this. So yeah, hopefully Elon Musk is going to take over Twitter, because I think we're going to see less of this and more consistency, more transparency and consistency. This is what the moderators at Twitter don't like. Consistency. Enforcement of the TOS. I mean, look, if you want to ban people for using the insult groomer to others, make it a rule. Make it a rule, and then people are going to, okay, well, we're not allowed to do this. They're not going to do it. I personally never done it. However, I can look at this and say, no, this is fucked up. Like, why don't you ban people for accusing others of being racist then, if they're not? I mean, racist is also an insult. And sometimes it can be a person disagreeing with Obama. I mean, that's not racism, let's be honest. Let me know what you guys think, though, and I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.